Membership means more with American Express Business Gold. Earn 4 times membership rewards points in your top 2 eligible spending categories every month, including eligible U.S. advertising purchases and select media, and U.S. purchases at restaurants, including takeout and delivery. What are you waiting for? Get the card that flexes with your spending every month. Terms and points cap apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-gold. Amex Business Gold Card. Built for business by American Express.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, to check the Jumbotron first, before attempting to eat a stack of Supreme nachos in one bite. Now you're just a meme that everyone shares on game day. Checking first is smart, so check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
So good, so good, so good.
Great brands, great prices. Everyone's got a reason to rack.
Because they have framed jeans.
Nike? Yes.
Just so many good brands.
Vince, Kurt Geiger London, Rag & Bone, and more are at Nordstrom Rack stores now. You never know what you'll find, but you know it's going to be so good. Great brands, great prices. That's why you rack.
This episode is brought to you by Atlassian. Atlassian makes the team collaboration software that powers enterprise businesses around the world, including over 80% of the Fortune 500. With Atlassian's AI-powered software like Jira, Confluence, and Loom, you'll have more time to do the work that matters. In fact, Atlassian customers experience a 25% reduction in project duration per year. Unleash the potential of your team at Atlassian.com. Atlassian.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Drink it in, man.
Cornbread! Cornbread! Touchdown, Detroit Lions!
Drink it in, man.
Cornbread! Cornbread! Detroit Lions!
Drink it in, man. Drink it in, man.
Kool-Aid drinkers, loyal, diehard Detroit Kool-Aid drinkers. This is your boy Okri coming at you. Actually, this isn't one of the new Detroit Kool-Aid packets that we've been dropping for you. 15 to 30 minutes long, Mondays and Fridays. This is actually the Wednesday flagship edition of the Detroit Koolaid Cast. So let me start it out right. Detroit Kool-Aid. Detroit Kool-Aid drinkers. You guys know what it is. Double-sided cornbread.
Cornbread! Cornbread!
And I'm fired up to do this show. I want to first start off by saying thank you to everybody that's been just drinking it in, double-sided cornbread, eating it up, the Detroit Kool-Aid packets that me and Chops have been trying to combo on. I must admit, it's more work. It's more time that we don't have. It's been a little bit of a challenge trying to make sure that we hit our marks and get them up there for you, but we've come through this last week or two. We do it, obviously, for the people.
And the people consist of the millions.
And we do it just because it's fun talking about those Lions. And just talking ball, talking Detroit sports. We had hashtag Choppy Hockey, Drop a Red Wing show. I mean, I've been talking draft. I've been talking about Myles Garrett. I've been hitting you guys up with all things Detroit sports other than the sport we shall not speak of, getting you hyped up. But here on the flagship today, I got one topic, and that's Brad, always open for business, Holmes. And I mostly just want to focus on the Combine starts on Thursday. You know, all of the NFL is congregating in Indianapolis, as they always do, for this great event. It's a lot of hoopla, a lot of everybody is there. This is when trade talks happen. This is the beginning of free agency. This is all types of wheeling and dealing at St. Elmo's. I mean, that's all fine and well. It's a lot of GMs and coaches getting to the podium, talking for a bit, not saying very much. But Brad Holmes had his media session, which I caught a good bit of. I'm definitely going to have to try to find time to go back and re-listen, as well as listen and re-listen to Dan freaking Campbell's session as well. But our GM, our head coach, I think I tweeted it out the other day, man, there's something special. We've known that for a while, but every time I see these two guys, they're confident, they're smooth, they're alphas, they're competitors, they're personable, they are aggressive. Everything you'd want from the leader of your regime and your general manager and your head freaking football coach. And we're in good hands, no question. So I made bullet points. I'll just read those, as well as give you my take of what I heard, what I thought I heard, what I might have heard, what maybe I didn't hear but I wanted to hear, and so much more. So let's not mess around. Let's get right into it. Brad, always over business, Holmes, presser at the NFL Combine. Started out, and he kind of said, hey, last year we took 2 corners because that's how the board fell. That's who we thought was the best, and that's just kind of how it worked out, how it happened. Definitely not upset with Terrion Arnold. I think the jury is out, and it's recency bias that a lot of people forgot about. Ennis the Menace Rakestraw, they written him off. He was injured most of the year, so he can't play. And I just remember before last draft process, it was like, man, Ennis Rakestraw is a AWG dog. He gets after you. He's scrappy. He's talked about as a first rounder. We got him mid to late round 2. I don't think Brad Holmes has any qualms about those picks, those players. He knows he needed corners because we can't cover a coffee table. We still had trouble in coverage because Terrion, too, got burnt, roasted, toasted, extra crispy a good amount. Or he was in the right spot a lot of times. We was just making tackles 5, 10, 15 yards down the field after catches were made. We definitely have to get that right. But, hey, Brad Holmes plays the board. 2 corners are the best 2. That's what he does. He takes them. I put, BH and DC they just believe in building in the trenches. Our head coach and our general manager are on the same page all day, every day. Every GM, every head coach, every organization says they want to build through the trenches. Some do, lots don't. The Lions have recently. Not surprising. That's when we started to win football games. But, you have a somewhat aging offensive line, but they're still very good. You have a middle-of-the-road, young and old defensive line. Obviously, you want to build around Aiden Hutchinson. You want to unleash him.
Unleash Hutch.
In 2025, along with Aleem, the Dream, a.k.a. Honey Bun, a.k.a. Twinkle Toes, a.k.a., and so many more. But I could definitely see the Lions putting some resources into the O-line, whether it be another nasty guard, whether it be a guy that can play guard and center, whether it be another tackle that can either play now or in the future. So I think they will definitely stay true to that statement rather than just saying it because it sounds good and then go drafting fancy pieces all over the place like we did for decades that got us no dubs, especially no easy dubs for the Lions. Let's see what else I got here. Brad Holmes said the prep's already started on future contracts. Everybody and their brother knows that we got to get Hutch signed. I mean, before or after the music started or ended would be preferable. I mean, Dan Campbell's ready to unleash this contract for Hutch. I mean, just ask him.
Unleash Hutch. I'm ready to unleash Hutch.
Exactly. So you got that one coming up. You got Kerbo. I mean, he was quoted on... What was Kerbo on? Oh, yeah, my boy Jim Rome. Kirby Joseph and Jim Rome, two of my favorite people, getting together for a little interview the other day. And Kerbo said he wants to be in Detroit for life. So spent his whole career here, which is always the right thing to say, but I think he does mean it. I think they'll get something done. Safety deal, much easier to do than a defensive player of the year, all-pro, edge rush stud like Aiden Hutchinson. But Kerbo is becoming one of the best safeties in the game. You're going to have to pay for that too in this crazy league where the salary cap's going up 30-some million. So hopefully they get both those guys done. They got some other cats they got to decide on. Some guys are going to go, some guys are going to have to go that are our guys, or we hope they would be good, or we wish we could keep them, but you just can't. So I'd be curious what they do with like the Josh Pascals of the world, or will Broderick Martin come into his own where he ends up being a big DT? Obviously, you don't have to pay him yet, but that's a question mark I have. But when it comes to prepping for these future deals, it's basically Kerbo, Hutch, before you have to deal with Sammy Biscuit, Sammy Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs, which is going to be sometimes I don't even know how it's going to go down because we just have so many ridiculous players. Like, you can't pay them all, but you gotta pay them all because we gotta keep them if we're gonna win and be good. So I think those top guys, whether it be Gibbs, Laporta, my boy Brian Branch, and so many more, I mean, they're planning both now and in the future to help keep these guys around, get them on good deals, reward their top players, all that stuff he mentioned. Brad Holmes says he doesn't see them being quote-unquote big spenders, and then he went on his diatribe, which he normally does, about, I don't know what you deem big spenders. I mean, we've spent before. It's like, Brad, we mean going and getting a big fish or two to help us win a Super Bowl. That's what we mean. We know that you're going to spend $8 million here, $10 million there, $5 million there, and then you're going to go to the clearance bin and get a bunch of guys that we either don't want or never heard of, and they're going to be good too. We get it, but that's what they mean by big spenders, is take you 56, 60, 75 million, whatever it ends up being when the cap gets solidified, spending that dinero aggressively, getting studs so that we can win ball games at a super high level. That's what we're talking about here in Detroit.
Este episodio es presentado por Honda. Descubra la nueva Honda Passport Trailsport Todoterreno. La Passport más todoterreno que Honda haya imaginado jamás. Esta Passport cuenta con mayor altura al suelo, barras de techo en todas sus versiones y neumáticas especialmente diseñados para cualquier terreno. Además, disfruta todos tus viajes con el control de clima de 3 zonas, techo panorámico y opciones como asientos delanteros con calefacción y ventilación. Conoce más en honda.com/Passport.
Love, exciting and new.
Hello, Hannah Waddingham here. Have you seen the fabulous new Sun Princess? World-class entertainment, exceptional dining, and the greatest pizza ever.
It's a love.
Don't miss our Come Aboard sale with up to 40% off and free room upgrades. Visit princess.com or call your travel advisor to book. Princess Cruises. Terms and restrictions apply. Offer ends 2/28/25. Ships of Bermudan and British Registry.
Lowe's knows that free is just better. That's why MyLowe's Rewards is free to join. As a member, you earn points towards MyLowe's money on eligible purchases, get exclusive free gifts, and earn free shipping at Silver Key status, all on top of weekly member-only deals. Don't wait. Join MyLowe's Rewards for free today and start saving more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
This episode is brought to you by Coffee Mate. After watching this season of the HBO's original series, The White Lotus, this is the tropical getaway I needed. One more pina colada, please.
Hey, you're not on mute.
Oh, I thought I was in paradise. Turns out it was my coffee mate. Coffee Mate Pina Colada and Thai iced coffee flavored creamers. Inspired by the newest season of HBO's original series, The White Lotus. For the love of coffee. Try now.
Pepsid Complete knows that food is one of the best parts of game day. That is, until heartburn strikes. Thankfully, just one chewable tablet of Pepsid Complete provides dual-action heartburn relief with an antacid that starts working instantly and an acid reducer that lasts all day. So you can stay focused on that second helping of chili without worrying about heartburn. All day based on 8-hour symptom relief studies during the day. Use product only as directed.
Obviously, I'm having a little bit of fun there with Brad Holmes. I just like when he gives the media a hard time as well as acts like he doesn't know what this means or what do you mean by that. Kind of when he gave my boy John Macaroon a hard time when he said, he can go get at one edge rusher, star edge rusher to put you up over the top. He's like, well, why you just say one? What you don't want to go get 1, 2, 3, 4 edge rushers? It's like, yes, Brad Holmes. Yes, Big Bad Brad. We want 4 stud edge rushers in this free agency, please. We know, and you know, that that's not possible. That's why John Macaroon didn't frame it that way. But of course, we want as many good football players across the board at all positions as possible. But we know you have this thing called a salary cap, as well as draft picks that you want to keep and use as well as a team that's already built a certain way. So you're probably not going to get 4 edge rushers that are all impact players. If you do, congratulations. But 1 stud edge rusher and other positions that help get us, I don't know, a playoff win, 15 more dubs, another playoff win, a trip to the Super Bowl, and a trophy. Yeah, that'd be nice. Let's see what else we got here. This is something he said, and people, I don't know that they love it, but I've grown to love this comment by Brad Holmes. He wants to continually spend on the known rather than the unknown. I like to hype up and drum up and talk about and hype up potential, maybes, what ifs. He's gonna do this. Brad Holmes lives in the world of he's done this consistently for years. Those are the people we want. Those are the people we will pay. We're not big on paying for the maybes, the ifs, the hopes, the could-bes. And I get it. But I guess my counterpoint would be a lot of times when you do that approach, you pay for what you did do. What you did in the past. I want to pay, foresee, and predict what you're going to do both now and in the future, because that's what really matters. So he's going to spend and focus on the knowns more so than the unknowns. He also kind of went after the media about their whole take about we need one piece, we're one piece away. Are you going to go get us one piece? You're going to put us over the top? Are you going to focus and get through and maximize this window? And he started the same thing where he says, you're not necessarily one piece away. What if you get that one big piece and then they get injured? What if you get that big piece and they don't get injured but your rest of your team gets hurt? What if you spend too much on that one piece? You can't build the rest of a football team. Yeah, we get it. We get all the counterpoints. We still want a big piece or 2 big pieces or 3 big pieces or whatever pieces it takes to get us multiple playoff wins, a great regular season, and, oh, by the way, a Super Bowl. So there's that. Let me do one more here before I take a pause, get our great sponsors in, take a quick break, and then I'll come back and finish up. I still got so many more bullet points from Mr. Brad Holmes. The last thing I'll hit on before here, he said the D-line. He said, I don't like to give out where I think the strengths and the weaknesses are of a draft, which I think is very smart. There's no real value in coming out and telling both the media and the other general managers of the league how you view this, what you think, unless you're pulling the okie doke and just saying it's strong in these areas when you don't think so, and you're holding your cards to your vest. So he said, I really don't like to give that, but he did say he was talking with Ray Agnew, and they felt somewhat like the defensive line, both inside and outside, are deeper than maybe past drafts, the past few drafts. That's how he kind of framed it. So that's absolutely perfect, because last time I checked, the Lions need D-line, edge rushers, interior rushers, big bodies. Oh, and on defense, preferably, and offensive line. So it's very strong in both those areas. The last few years, if you look at it, it's actually been really strong in the areas the Lions need. The Lions have focused on weapons one year, corners another year. This year probably will be rush and big, nasty people movers, both on both sides of the football, and I'm all for that, and I bet everybody else is too. So, everybody, that's what I got here for this first segment. Let's take a quick pause. I'll come back. I got so many more bullet points from Brad Holmes, hyping up our team, talking about this squad. I love hearing from the general manager. I love the combine. I love free agency, and I especially love the NFL draft. All that's going to be right around the corner. Everybody, I'll be right back.
Oh my God, it's the coolest thing ever. Hey guys, have you heard of Goldbelly? Well, check this out. It's this amazing site where they ship the most iconic, famous foods from restaurants across the country, anywhere nationwide. I've never found a more perfect gift than food. They ship Chicago deep dish pizza, New York bagels, Maine lobster rolls, and even Ina Garten's famous cakes. Seriously. So if you're looking for a gift for the food lover in your life, head to goldbelly.com and get 20% off your first order with promo code GIFT.
To realize the future America needs, we understand what's needed from us. To face each threat head on. We've earned our place in the fight for our nation's future. We are Marines. We were made for this.
Chronic migraine is 15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours or more.
Botox, onabotulinum toxin A, prevents headaches in adults with chronic migraine before they start. It's not for those with 14 or fewer headache days a month. It prevents on average 8 to 9 headache days a month versus 6 to 7 for placebo.
Prescription Botox is injected by your doctor. Effects of Botox may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Side effects may include allergic reactions, neck and injection site pain, fatigue, and headache. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Don't receive Botox if there's a skin infection. Tell your doctor your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions, including ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects.
Why wait? Ask your doctor, visit BotoxChronicMigraine.com, or call 1-800-44-BOTOX to learn more.
Since you're new to H&R Block, we'll look at your returns from the last 3 years for any money your last guy might have missed, for free.
I could get money back from last year?
You could. We'll find any mistakes.
Could have really used that 2 years ago when I dated that mistake for 5 months.
Don't leave money on the table. Switch to H&R Block and get a free Second Look review. Second Look is included at no additional cost with the purchase of tax preparation. Results vary. All tax situations are different. Fees apply if you have us file an amended return.
Jewelry isn't a gift you give just once. It's a way to remind your loved one of a beautiful moment every time they see it. Blue Nile can help you find the gift that says how you feel and says it beautifully, with expert guidance and a wide assortment of jewelry of the highest quality at the best price. Go to BlueNile.com and experience the convenience of shopping Blue Nile, the original online jeweler since 1999. That's BlueNile.com to find the perfect jewelry gift for any occasion. BlueNile.com.
All right, everybody. This goes out to my fantasy football fans out there. Now, you probably heard about Reality Sports Online, the most powerful fantasy sports platform where owners can build and manage their fantasy team like a real NFL general manager. But the question is, have you tried it? I mean, we're talking free agency, multi-year contracts, rookie drafts, multi-team trades. You could put franchise tags on guys. It's as close as you're going to get to being an NFL GM. But do you think it sounds complicated? It's not. I'm here to tell you it's the best thing about Reality Sports Online is it's just more fun than your normal fantasy league, but it doesn't take barely any more time. After all this, are you still not sure? I mean, come on now. You can test your general manager skills by going over to Reality Sports Online, call it RSO. Please go check out realitysportsonline.com right now. Kool-Aid drinkers, I'm back. It's your boy Oakrey. You can find me on Twitter at Derek Oakrey. That's spelled the only way you can spell it, DEREK. Last name.
Whether it's a movie night or just midday, Skinny Pop is a salty snack that keeps on giving. Made with just 3 simple ingredients for an irresistibly delicious taste and a large serving size that lasts. Deliciously popped, perfectly salted. Skinny Pop, popular for a reason. Shop Skinny Pop now.
Just like it sounds, OKRIE. Hit me up on Twitter. Talk about the Lions, talk about fantasy football, NFL draft, Michigan Wolverines. How about my Pistons with 7 straight dubs? How about Choppy Chops, Red Wings, who, when they're winning, they're my Red Wings as well. Winning more games than they lose, except I hate when they're up 2 goals late in the third period. They give away 2 goals, they lose in overtime, and then they win in overtime the next time, and they're just all over the map right now. But winning more than they lose with the new head coach, which we're all excited about. So, lots of good things going on in Detroit sports. Getting back to my boy Brad, always over business Holmes and the Detroit Lions. I mean, he said something very sneakily, and I almost have to go back and hear how he phrased it. Most people probably didn't catch this. But he was telling a story about something else. I can't even remember what the topic was, because all I heard him say was he picked up on this thing about his squad while watching an offensive player for the Arizona Cardinals for free agency. And thinking about the Arizona Cardinals, who are absolutely terrible. I mean, don't you agree, Charles?
That's terrible.
Yeah, they're terrible, exactly. Especially that midget quarterback they have, who's absolutely crybaby, piece of pompous, piece of you-know-what. I mean, I'm looking going, who do they got? They got Connors, or we don't need a running back. They got receivers who they probably wouldn't trade. They got a ho-hum, Swiss cheese offensive line. I mean, I don't know who he's looking at on the Arizona Cardinals offense that would intrigue him whatsoever, but that's what he said. So I'm curious. Could it be some interior lineman that I'm not on the tip of my tongue right now? Could it be a fancy 3rd, 4th wide receiver that he's intrigued by? I mean, maybe. But they're not a good football team. I'd rather not have any Arizona Cardinals, to be honest. The other thing he mentioned, he said situations. Let's see here. I'm trying to read my own scribble as I was writing this down and as Mr. Holmes was talking. He went on and on about how situations and skill sets for players matter. They're very important. He talked about our quarterback, who he obviously loves and who he stole from the Los Angeles Rams, who could not wait to get rid of Jared Goff, and we brought him here, and he's grown into a, wait for it, elite quarterback. There you go, people. I make fun of his wobbly spirals. He obviously can't move very well. He's not the best under pressure, but he's come here. He's accurate. Great leadership. By the way, wins football games, which I appreciate. And he just talked about how, like, you know, he was leaving a situation that maybe wasn't so good, and they put him in, he got to a good situation, and they used his skill set properly, and boom, works out for the player. He went on to give some other examples, and it felt like, you know, he's right. Like, we're always trying to think about that draft prospect that could need new scenery, or, oh, maybe this guy, if you brought him here and put him with this and that, he'd be actually good. A lot of times it doesn't work out. The times it does, you do the old new scenery routine. And Brad Holmes is very smart, though, just to be like, hey, man, if you see a guy that's not in a good situation but has a skill set you love, maybe you can get him at a discount, maybe you can bring him here, and then that will ultimately help your football team exponentially depending on who you get, when, how, all that type of stuff. So I thought that was a very, not only interesting take, but a great approach from a general manager of not only looking at players, but what situation are they in? Maybe that skill set doesn't fit their team, situation, the players around them, but man, they would be perfect here. And he's done a great job of identifying and bringing those type of guys here. He made a note about Hendon Hooker that I thought was very intriguing, where a lot of people have not only written off Hendon Hooker, but are just throwing him in random trades and beating him up because he wasn't as good as Teddy Bridgewater. He can't even hold a clipboard. You guys know I've always been a proponent of H2O. I gave the guy the nickname soon after they drafted him. Yes, I said recently on a previous show that he's no throw-in to some Myles Garrett deal because he ain't done a damn thing in the National Football League, and I stand by that. But this guy's a smart kid. He's got a skill set. He's continuing to learn. Yes, I can't have him learn for 5-6 years when he was already, 25 when he was drafted. But Brad Holmes said that Hendon Hooker actually took a bit in college. You go back to maybe a slow start. Where was he at? Bod Tech, and then he really started to come on, and then he went to Tennessee, and he really started to go crazy in that offense. Heisman hopeful, and got injured, and he sees the same type of thing with Detroit, where he's sort of learned the system, obviously different than what he did at college, this, that, and the other. He sees progress. Maybe some people feel it's slow progress. He sees development. I'm here to tell you, do not write off that they still, if you can't either move this guy for a proper asset, they are totally fine with Hendon Hooker as that quality backup that they can not only keep developing, but now in the next year and moving forward can trust more than they could coming off an injury or last year. So I feel like Brad Holmes was saying, hey, I know you guys are writing off Hendon Hooker, but we feel like he's a great QB 2-3 right now, and there's no reason we can't continue to develop him. And by the time Jared Goff is riding off into the sunset or his spirals get a little too wobbly, you could ease this guy in and get, years 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32 out of a Hendon Hooker, just smooth transition at quarterback. I mean, I could still see that happening, no question. That's best case scenario. But if somebody wants Hendon Hooker and wants to pay quality premium, hopefully more than we paid for him, I would entertain that as well. Will Brad Holmes is the question. Brad Holmes, B3, Big Bad Brad. Brad always open for business. Talked about Tashad Choice, new running backs coach. I knew Choice was swaggy and that young coach, and that he probably had a lot of things that a lot of teams liked. Brad Holmes really had a lot of great things to say about him, and said one thing that I didn't know. Usually these guys have connections to scheme, or maybe they were with this coach previously. Tashad Choice was actually the running backs coach for a guy who's a multi-dimensional, positionless, wait for it, hell, I won't make you wait for it, elite weapon, Jahmyr Gibbs. And that's tremendous news. It also tells me, when I'm reading between the lines, that they are catering to Jahmyr Gibbs. They know that Jahmyr Gibbs is the elite electric weapon that they thought he was, that he's grown into, and that he will be getting the football more, because I can't take too many more seasons where I don't see Jahmyr Gibbs for what seems to be a full quarter of football, or for a full 8-10 play first drive. He's just standing over there with his helmet off. I would expect him to be the lead carry and catch guy, and I'm not pushing Demo out the door, faux show. I think that he still is a great power back, very elusive, touchdown maker, leader, all that stuff that you want. Is he, how should I phrase this? Elite! I don't know, but I know Jahmyr Gibbs is. So I feel like they're turning that page a bit while still having the nice combo meal, and I love that. Brad Holmes noted he always wants to add more explosive players. I mean, I'm right with you, Brad. Explosive. I mean, anytime that you can add explosive players on offense or defense, I'm all for it. Explosive. And that's one thing he's done tremendous, and it's actually changed my way of looking at the draft. A lot of times, you know, we're just trying to, I call it playing the board or filling needs or going with consensus. Brad Holmes has a tremendous ability to have, I think he says normally his draft board is in like the 120s, 150s maybe, you know, probably less to be honest. I've actually targeted people, but what he does is he narrows that down to these are the 20 explosive players in this draft. Explosive. These are the special talents, and he's helped bring many of those to Detroit. I think he went on and said in another point of this press conference that if you really look at it, he had multiple twos, or you know, before or after the first year or whatever, he had 2 1s, multiple 2s, he's had multiple 3s, and if you really look at what he's done with those picks, even players in the 4th round, he's got what they deem as like 7 or 8 first round graded players per Brad Always for Business Holmes, and I don't think many of us can disagree. I don't think any of you that are honest would say you saw Amon-Ra as a first round type talent. I did come on the day after the draft and talk about him being a Hines Ward type, how he was a Randall L-esque player, how he had this, that, and the other. He wasn't going to be you know, a crazy WR1, but he had the grit, grimy, just a no-nonsense. Me and local namer and Deer had that argument here on the show, but I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't see him that high up the board. I kept getting him in the mocks at like rounds 3, 4, maybe in the 5th in those mock drafts, and they snagged him in the 4th. I thought that was good value, but I mean, you could just go down the line. I mean, getting Kerbo in the 3rd, getting Aleem in the 3rd, like Brad Holmes, both probably true, but also to pump himself up, can now call those guys first round players. And hey, they're great draft picks, there's no question. So he has a great ability to identify the special just game-changing talents on both sides of the football and get them, whether it be top picks in the draft, trades, lower in the draft, however he's got to do it. I think he'll continue that. I talked about the Lions losing the D-line coach. His name is escaping me. Is Williams his last name? Big fella that came here last year. But he said, man, what a great D-line coach from Tennessee. We had him for a year. Now he's the DC with the New England Patriots. Brad Holmes said that's a big loss for Detroit, but obviously they're always, you know, excited for their guys to get those type of opportunities, and they will fill in the holes. They will keep it moving. I'm sure they will. So all the best of luck to him in that new role. He will be missed, though. The big thing with Brad Holmes in this presser was, how are you going to tell us more about a star edge pass rusher? How are you going to get one? Do you want another one? Are you working on obtaining one? Why don't we have one yet to go opposite of Hutch? Every fan wants another edge rusher opposite of Hutch. That's all you hear. And he just went on the talking points of, I mean, he summed it up kind of like this.
It's like, duh.
Of course, I want a star edge pass rusher to go with the one we already have and the others we hope to obtain, or guys that we're developing. I mean, duh.
It's like, duh.
But the thing he said, which is true as well, I mean, duh.
It's like, duh.
They're hard to obtain. They also cost a lot of money, both now or future contracts or whatever it may be. Also, it's kind of hard to get another star edge pass rusher when you got to pay the one you currently have, where's number 97, 23, 24 years old, going to get buco bucks. It's kind of hard to commit to another 20, 30, 35 plus $1 million edge rusher on the other side. It can be done because salary cap is funny money, and maybe you get a discount on a player, or maybe people want to come here and try to win a Super Bowl. But yes, Brad Holmes, we realize it's not easy to do. Yet we're still telling you, do it. Do it now. I mean, that's basically what we're saying. Nicely, of course. But, I mean, please get us more edge pass rush help so we're not just having our somewhat sketchy corners have to cover for all day, every day. Couple more here. Hard to keep, top talent, however you acquire it, whether it be an edge, corners, some of these skill players that we're falling in love with, like you have to budget properly, you have to plan, you also sometimes can't do the things that everybody wants to do, thinking this is fantasy football or Madden, or this isn't Brad Holmes talking, this is me paraphrasing and making up what he said. It's kind of like you can't both be prudent and plan to keep all your homegrown studs and go obtain all these other studs at all types of positions and load up your roster with every good player everywhere. That's just a public service announcement from me for Brad Holmes to the people. But yeah, we know it's hard to obtain it and it's tough financially. It's getting tougher because you keep drafting top talent, you keep building, you keep getting guys that are like ho-hum, and then they come here and like Detroit falls in love with them. Like, pay Carlton Davis whatever he wants. I mean, he was good, but there's going to be a price point where we cannot keep the Carlton. Hopefully not, because I want to continue to play the music, but if he wants too much money and other teams offer him buco bucks like the Patriots or whoever, we may have to stop playing one of the greatest drops on the show.
It's not unusual to be loved by.
I know many of you are out there doing the Carlton dance every time that is played, and I don't blame you one bit. I actually tried that when Carlton Davis got an interception. It didn't go so well for me. I definitely don't have the hip swivel or the swag or the ability to pull that off like Carlton did back in the Fresh Prince days. But it's fun regardless. I think I pulled a hammy when I tried it. Let's see. He said, so right at the end of the press conference, somebody mumbled something to him. Of course, not only can we not hear most of the questions, but the video keeps cutting out and all types of issues, whether that's the Lions' fault or the Combine's fault, or I don't know. But what I do know is somebody mumbled something to him right at the very end. He very loudly, confidently, and kind of abrasively said, "Probably not," and walked off. That was his walk-off statement, "Probably not," and then walked off the podium. What did he say probably not to? I mean, it could have been anything from, should you have lost at home as the number one seed to the Washington Commanders? Probably not. Could you possibly trade some of our special players for some of these aging vets that people want? Probably not. Could you, go out and have coffee with Benedict Johnson, head coach of the Chicago Bears, now that he's talking all types of junk about our football team and taking shots at our quarterback and propping up his quarterback, who last time I checked is a aloof weirdo that's going to just roll his eyes and be lost in formerly Ben Genius's offense? Probably not. I don't see they're going to be breaking bread or sending Christmas cards anytime soon. They'll say everything right, but Benedict Johnson is digging himself a little bit of a hole here in Detroit. But no, seriously, what he really said was, I think the person hit him with, "Do you see yourself getting another top star edge rusher?" And his reply was, Probably not. Now, everyone's went crazy with that. You see every article, all the clickbait, all the media types are running with that. Oh, don't get excited. Not gonna happen. Brad Holmes says don't expect No. The fact that he said probably not doesn't surprise me. If he would have said absolutely we're going to, stay tuned, TBD if you ask me, but we'll see. I hope I get Myles Garrett. No, he's not going to say any of those things. He's going to say probably not, and if he's able to get one, everyone will be double excited. And then he also is going to do what Dan freaking Campbell said, which when they asked him about have you looked at or you have some thoughts and feelings, a plan for free agency, he smiled at the camera and said, oh yeah, absolutely. These guys have a plan, they have an approach, they have people circled, they have things they love to do but maybe can't, they have things that they want to do and will do, and they have things that they never thought could happen that will happen and everybody will be excited about. So I'm expecting a tremendous free agency, a great draft process, an incredible draft class, guys getting healthy, the core of this team staying together, and us being Super Bowl favorites both now, in the future, in the future's future. Get used to this winning here in Detroit with Brad Holmes at the helm and Dan freaking Campbell as our head coach. All right. Well, that's what I got, everybody. There's your Detroit Koolaid Cast. Check in on Friday morning for another Detroit Koolaid Packet, a short episode on a topic or two, as well as Monday morning, and then the flagship here on Wednesdays, talking all about those lines. Drink it in, everybody.
Drink it in, man.
Double-sided cornbread.
Cornbread.
And I'll catch you next time right here on the Detroit Koolaid Cast. Okay, everybody. I'm out.
Pack the bag, start the plane. This game is over. It is over. What a comeback by the Lions.
Drink it in, man.